Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Let's prepare to embark on a soul stirring journey as we unveil the wondrous creation known as Daily Soul Bytes. This enchanting audiobook and book were meticulously crafted to bring your soulful experiences each day to you each day. So imagine waking up to the gentle whispers of wisdom, the tender embrace of inspiration, and the gentle nudges to live your best life. Daily Soul Bites is a treasure trove of heartfelt stories, insightful reflections, and empowering messages that will touch the depths of your being. Today, we gather to celebrate the launch of this extraordinary creation, and we invite you to join us in this transformative experience as we delve into the pages of Daily Soul Bites. We will explore the profound beauty of the human experience and discover the power that lies within each and every one of us. But that's not all. In the spirit of sharing the magic, we have some exciting giveaways in store for you today. As you listen to the tales within Daily Soul Bites, we encourage you to share your thoughts, ask questions, and engage in the conversation. Each person who leaves a comment or asks questions will be eligible to receive an edition of Daily Soul Bites. Simply send a direct message with your email address to Bola, and she'll deliver the precious gift to you. Now, as a token of our gratitude for your presence here today, one lucky winner will receive the Daily Soul Bites mug, and this cherished vessel will serve as a reminder to savor the small moments, to embrace the beauty of life's journey, and to find solace in the whispers of the soul. Now, you may be wondering where you can find Daily Soul Bites in its various formats. Fear not, for we have made it easily accessible to all. Whether you prefer to immerse yourself in the soothing voice of the audiobook, or flip through the pages of the paperback, or embrace the convenience of a Kindle edition, you can find Daily Soul Bites on Bola's website. So simply visit that and we'll let the magic unfold. So let's introduce the wonderful, amazing Bola Abimbola. I'm so excited to be here with you today. It's so
Honestly,
exciting.
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, Adrienne. I do love that you're joining me to do this. This is a wonderful experience to share this with you, my kindred spirit sister. Lovely. Thank you so much for doing this with me.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Tell me, Bola, this is such an amazing book and such an amazing audio book that you created. What inspired you to create Daily Soul Bites?
Thank
Um,
you, Adrienne. And I just want to wish everyone who is here with us a wonderful, wonderful day. It's really nice to be here, and I hope you're all going through a wonderful day. This happens to be my mother's birthday, posthumous birthday, the 28th of August.
wow.
That's why I chose this day. She would have been 85 years old. She passed in 2020 very peacefully in her sleep. Um, and I just wanted to say that before we started. And I hope that everybody's doing well wherever you are, wherever you're watching this, whether you're with us live now in the room with us, or those who are going to be watching this in replay. Thank you so much for joining myself and Adrienne to do this. And yes, let's go, let's go. So, why did what inspired me? Well, the thing is, I loved reading. I've always read books from a young age. My mom was a librarian, so we had books, at home. And I have found reading to be one of my most treasured modalities because we all have modalities. There are so many, billions of modalities, different, hypnotherapy, tarot, astrology. I know astrology is one of Adrienne's modalities, as well as tarot. And we tend to have a toolbox. We
Yeah.
tend to have a range of things that we have that really help us to really connect to our true self, help us to feel grounded, because that is what we have all come to do. We've come to remember who we are, doing different things in different ways. So we have different modalities that help us to do that. And reading has always been one of mine. So, from the age of 10, 15, 18, I was reading books. So I love books, and it's really nice to be able to share one of my creations, as a book. So yes, but I come from a family of writers. My mother wrote so many books. She actually owned a publishing company.
Wow.
That's how much she loved books, and she used to support the community and her friends to publish books. So she was not only a librarian, she was also an editor as well as a publisher. And my brothers have also published their books. So I was the last to write.
Wow. It's
I
amazing.
remember, yes, I remember my mother saying to me, you love writing. I've always loved writing. But I started out writing blogs. So I have my blog on my website, Soul Space Healing, which really talks about different topics on transformation and healing. So she said to me one day, why don't you write your own book instead of blogging? This blogging you're doing, why don't you write your own book? So there was resistance there.
Wow.
There was some resistance for me to write. And this is very common. We find that sometimes it's not about, something not happening, it's about timing. There's always a timing for things, because the books I could have written before now would not have been heart centered books.
Mm.
This Daily Soul Bytes is a heart centered book. It's about really disconnecting from that pervasive materialistic false matrix. This is the reality that we all see, we all experience. We have been conditioned to really live in this reality, but it is not our true reality. Our true self lies within. We are spirit beings. This is really what I've come to understand. So the kinds of books I could have written before now would not have been heart-centered books, would
Mm.
not have had the understanding that I have now. So I love, I'm so proud of what I have written and the impact that it's having. So for me, the timing is perfect. And
Oh.
this is something that I do want to share with those who are listening to this. It's not about, not getting something at a time that you want it. Sometimes we have to think about the timing and the impact and the meaning that it will hold when the time comes. So we can stay encouraged. We can stay inspired. Because I wrote this book in 2020
Wow.
when there was this really particular situation going on all around the world. And I really, it was after my mum passed, and I was going through a lot as well. I had an out of body experience. I was just having a nice lunch with my brother. I went into the kitchen and I came back out, and I was gone. And I felt myself and I don't know if those who are listening to this, or those who are in the room, understand or have heard of out of body experiences, is when your spirit actually leaves your body and you find yourself in a particular space. And the time in which, the time through which this happens changes from person to person.
Mhm.
Mine was about 5 to 10 seconds. And
Mhm.
I found myself as a light. I felt myself glowing in this dark place. And I could hear my brother's voice calling me, because I had fallen to the ground.
Mm.
He just saw me fall to the ground. Bless him. I know he might have needed therapy after that event. God,
Oh my gosh.
yeah. But I basically heard his voice calling me, and I came back into my body, and I could feel my spirit coming down from my head and filling up my body all the way down to my legs. And then I felt an urge to go to the toilet, you know, and I ran upstairs to the toilet. And it was such an interesting experience. But what it showed me, what it gave to me was I could no longer deny the existence of spirit,
Mhm.
because I had experienced that spirit self. So that for me was such a gift, because now anytime I want to stay or get into that present moment, because being in that present moment, that neutral place, is really where we can receive all the infinite possibilities in our lives. We are not projecting to the past, we're not projecting to the future, we're not thinking of anything positive, negative, we're neutral. That present space, it is unknown, it's an unknown place, and I touch on it in my book, in Daily Soul Bytes.
Mm.
It's an unknown place. But anytime I want to be in that place, because the unknown can be scary, But knowing that I am a spirit being, I am now able to actually just remember that moment, remember that spirit being which I was on that particular day in 2020.
Mm.
And I'm immediately grounded, immediately grounded. I'm immediately in the moment, immediately present. So that's a modality for me. And we all have different things that help us stay grounded, bring us to that present moment. So that's what made me write Daily Soul. But I know that all of those experiences that I had, my mom passing, me having to understand that her spirit is with me. Her spirit is now in another dimension, and I can connect to her in a different way. Because I've always connected to my father who passed, when I was 11. So I had those, and I know that she supported me to actually bring the words forward. And it took me a while. It took me, I don't think actually published it as Kindle until about 3, 4 months, because I went to and I had resistance. Even though I'd written all the words, I didn't want to bring it out just yet. And it was a friend of mine who called me and said, "Is your book on Kindle?" I said, "No, it's just an ebook on my website," because I wasn't sure how I wanted to actually give it out there. And this is the clarity that we sometimes need to
Mm.
allow ourselves to have. So we've written the book. What kind of book is it? How do we want to share it with the world? And it took me a number of prompts. There were a number of angels who guided me through the process of going from the ebook to the paperback, and then now the audiobook, which is now available on Audible, and the paperback is available anywhere books are sold, online, on Amazon, or Barbara Press. It's actually printed by Barbara Press and published in November 2023.
Wow.
So yes, that's what inspired me. A series of things. Inspiration, I think, comes in a toolbox. You have different things inspiring us from different places,
Mm.
um, and yeah. So that's what inspired me to write Daily Soul Bytes.
I'm curious as you were talking, I realized how often we don't stay in the now. Like it's easy for our minds to spin out of control into the future, the past, wherever. Is Daily Soul Bites a book that helps people to find a way to stay grounded in present?
Yes, 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 it is. It's really about understanding perspectives, understanding the two selves, the physical ego self and the spirit higher self. Because those two selves, there are times when we understand that that physical ego self is changing all the time. Our personalities are changing, but there is a part of us that is unchanging. That part of us that is still, that part of us that is wise, unconditionally loving. And we all come to it, all the different cultures in the world, the different religions, whatever it is that you practice, have a name for it, for that still place, for that self that is unconditionally loving, that has infinite wisdom, that is of spirit, that is not of a physical nature. Still consciousness, because consciousness is a mirror of God. And that mirror is the reflection, that reflection, intelligent reflection. So consciousness is something that we have as a spirit being, and we have as a physical being as well. So the physical ego self has perspectives, and they're usually around survival, competition, and a lot of fear. That's the conditioning. And it's there to help us to achieve all the different things we've come to achieve in this particular lifetime.
Mm.
So, yes, the physical ego being has perspectives, which I talk about in the book. And it's really about understanding the perspectives of the higher self so that
Mm.
we can align with much more ease. We can become much more familiar. And the
Mm.
question I'm asking everybody to ask themselves with every nugget, the book has 31 nuggets. With every nugget is, what is my perspective around this particular nugget? So there are different topics. There's forgiveness, there is love, there is compassion, there's intimacy. What do I think about intimacy? Becoming much more familiar with our own thoughts.
Mm.
Because when we become familiar, this is self awareness. The more we can understand the thoughts and the emotions and the sensations that we have, the more we understand the reality we are creating, because we are prime creators. So when we understand what is happening to us, it's not that somebody's doing anything to us. Sometimes we think, oh, I've been cursed, I've been bad, I'm doing this. Yes, all of that is our projection. We are attaching to those things, and that is okay. But the question we then need to ask ourselves is this what I really want? What do I really want? If I don't want this, what do I really want? And to believe that it's possible and to believe that we are worthy of it. There's so many steps that we need to take, but it's so important to understand the different perspectives. The physical ego perspective, which is has a lot of limiting beliefs. And those limiting beliefs serve us to one point, and then it gets to a point when we do want to let them go. So letting go of those beliefs is key. And we need to become so intolerant of these beliefs, it gets to a point where, because they're very addictive and they perpetuate themselves, without the limiting beliefs being very strong, we would not have the reality that we have. The limiting beliefs have to be very, very strong for us to have an experience. We have to have an experience. So the limiting beliefs have to be very strong. But it gets to a point where that experience is not something that we are enjoying, and we have to let them go. But the limiting beliefs are so strong that
Yeah.
we have to be quite determined. We have to have a zero tolerance to it. I no longer want to do this. I am now embracing this. And the easier it is, the more familiar we are with our higher perspectives around different things, the easier it is for us to let go. The easier it is for us to actually own the more empowering beliefs that allow us to create a more empowering life. This is what it's all about. What kind of life do we want to live? Do we want to believe that we live in a world of abundance? Or do we want to believe that we live in a world of lack? And there's so many beliefs that we don't even know we hold. Sometimes we don't even know that we hold this belief because they're so endemic within us. But it's about not ever giving up. It's about taking the steps, the modalities that work for us, whether it's books, whether it's astrology, whether it's hypnotherapy or energy healing. I'm an energy practitioner as well as a frequency alchemist. I actually use light language and activations to really transmit and transmute the energy frequency of my clients to a higher frequency. And it's effortless healing. And light language is really something that, is an intergalactic modality. It actually has a number of symbols and sounds and light and geometry that allows us to circumvent the resistance of the ego mind and go to the subconscious mind where the healing takes place. And we know that the subconscious mind is what drives us. So a lot of the healing modalities that we have around us are there to help us shift. Because sometimes we're going for therapy, but we're not sure why we're going for therapy. Am I going there to just chat away? Or am I
Right.
going there to let go of the ego self? Am I going there to release the attachments that I have? What am I using these modalities for? So clarity is so key. Healing, because spiritual awakening is a journey, but there is a point. There's a point in that spiritual awakening journey where we know that we are spirit beings, that we are not this physical ego being, this body consciousness. The body consciousness has a role. It has a role to play because when, we women, we know when we're going through our natural life cycles. One
Yeah.
minute you're in reproductive phase, the next minute you're in perimenopause, and then
Right. Right.
and menopause and postmenopause. So there's some natural body changes that are very real, but it's about how we allow ourselves to go through these phases with much more grace and ease by grounding ourselves, by using the modalities around us, by shifting that control, that hold of the ego self, that hold of our body, because we are not our bodies. Even though we are experiencing life with these bodies, our true self is actually in spirit. And we can allow that spirit self to come into our space, to come into the body, to come into the mind, and actually begin to drive us in higher perspectives. So that's what Soul Bite talks about. It talks about the different perspectives of intimacy, of the everything in life has a perspective that is low and high. And we can come to just become much more familiar with what is in my mind. There's a lower perspective, there's a higher perspective. There's no right or wrong, but it's about what experience do I want to have?
Mm-hmm.
What experience do I want to have? Because sometimes we want to have downtime, and
Right.
that's okay. Sometimes we do not necessarily want to be extroverted. We do want to relax and rest, deep rest. And some people may say, "Oh, that's being lazy," and all that. No, it's an experience. It's an experience that allows us to recuperate, allows us to know ourselves, allows the body to have a rebirth, to have restoration. So yes, every experience has its pros and cons. And it's about really coming to understand the meaning behind the experience and what we do. It's not about what happens, it's about what we do, the actions that we take, and having an expectancy as opposed to an expectation, knowing that whatever action we take is going to lead to an increase in abundance for us, going to lead to an expansion for us, as opposed to feeling that, oh, I'm going to take action. Say, for instance, I want to increase abundance, and it must come through the lottery. It must come through my courses. It must come through my job. Those things actually limit the expansive opportunities that are around us. So having an expectation is very different. Expectation about the specific way it will come is very different from having an expectancy, which is just knowing that this action I'm taking is going to increase my well-being. It's going to increase abundance um, in a way that serves me and mine.
I love.
Expectancy, and that allows the universe to come and co-create with us, because the physical ego self that has all the expectations does not really have the full oversight picture, that overview that the spirit self has. So yes, so the Daily Soul Buzz is about increasing self-awareness of
Mm-hmm.
the different perspectives within us, so that we can become familiar with our own thoughts by reading through the different perspectives in the book and beginning to align much more. Life is about choice and
Mm-hmm.
alignment. Life is about choice and alignment that we make, that we choose. And we can be empowered beings. We can really live in a magical, fourth density experience, as opposed to this very limiting third density experience.
It's beautiful. One of the things that you mentioned was that there were 31 nuggets. Was it 30,
Yes,
31 nuggets? And my thing is, with those 31 nuggets, are those kind of like the bricks that lead you to this acceptance that we're talking about here? Um,
I was guided. I
go.
was guided. I am supported by the Aldorians. They're
Oh,
10th dimensional beings from the planet Aldor, many galaxies away. And I very quickly learned about spirit beings when I was 11 years old, when my father died. And he had passed away, but I was in his bedroom at his moment of passing. And I saw him in his bedroom. And it was only when my mother, and I thought he had come back home from the hospital. But my mother told me that no, he didn't come home
oh, he
from.
wasn't really there. Your
But I saw him, and I was really, and I cried when my mother said he was, he had passed, and I said to her, but he came home. Because no, he didn't come home. He didn't come home. He has passed. But I've had experiences like that, and now I hear his voice. So when I began to hear the titles of each chapter in the book, and I was thinking, who is this coming from? And I heard the word Aldorians. We are the Aldorian collective. So the collective of beings, and it's all about love. They're very, very wise, very, very wise. So some of the things I'm saying now, and I'm not just talking arbitrarily, I'm actually talking on many different energy levels,
Mhm.
that may really support different levels of understanding. So yes, the Aldorians really supported me to write the book, and I'm sure there are other guides because I have a number of other guides, Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron,
Mhm.
who also support me, doing different things, healing. They support me with different activations with clients. I'm happy to read a chapter, actually, if you
Yes, I would actually love that if you could do that. That would be
let,
great.
let me read a chapter in the book because this will kind of give an example of what it entails. So this is one of the nuggets. This is called the self-care nugget.
Mm.
The self-care love bite. I call them soul bites. The self-care soul bite.
Okay, I love it.
So self-care, valuing our own self, is about staying in our lane, even as we engage with other lanes in different ways. When we understand our words, values, have a deep regard for how we experience life, we come to engage with others with life in a powerful way. We can stay in our lane and stand up for what we believe is good, even as we come against what we believe is inappropriate. This is especially key for persons who have lost their voice through trauma.
Mm.
We sometimes find it easier to see the vulnerability in others rather than ourselves. We would rather not see ourselves as vulnerable because we believe that this makes us appear weak, and we do not want to be taken advantage of or pitied. Also, the words self care, self love have been misrepresented over years to mean selfishness.
Mm.
We can come to place even more value on the things we can offer, the work we do, and the help we give. We can come to count our own self as worthy of all goodness that life has to offer. Self care softens us and resolves fear. It is in our soft places that our humanness really shines through. We can connect more deeply with others as we transform our inner world and the world at large. So it's about seeing self-care as a higher perspective, not a lower perspective that we feel we cannot be vulnerable, we feel that we will be pitied, we feel that we're not strong, or we feel that we may be selfish. So those are lower perspectives of self-care.
Yeah.
But the higher perspectives of self-care is really about, and I mentioned three things there. Really, we can come to place more value on the things we can offer, on the things that we do for work, and on the help that we give. And
Mm.
I give you an example. When I was writing this, I remember, and some of these things as I wrote them actually had experiences that gave me a deeper understanding. And I'm still getting a deeper understanding of the book, I tell you.
I love it.
Uh, and how you can have extended family situations, and you do have some family members who are wealthier than others, and you get a sense of how you know the general family, extended family, it's kind of valuing those who have much more wealth than others. And but you can see that there are some members who are the life force of the extended family, but they're not valued. You see that there's some who are really kind. They have they're holding the love, they're holding the wisdom. There's some who family members who are holding the vitality of the group, but those are not necessarily valued by the majority.
Mm.
And I could see, looking at the extended family, which members of the family were being valued more than others. And I could
Mm.
see the way they reacted to the lack of appreciation that they were receiving. And this is about, how do we come to deal with these things? How do we take care of our own self? Do we try to prove ourselves? Do we challenge what is happening? Or do we come to value what we have to offer? I may not be able to offer so, 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 and so, but I can offer this.
Mm.
And that is something of value. And the other thing I ask us to value is the work we do. Because sometimes, we live in a world where there's certain professions that are seen as particularly exciting. And some of the more creative artisan work is not seen as exciting, but really we have come to know that you can become a millionaire with anything, really
Mm.
anything. You can become a millionaire with whatever craft, depending on how you apply yourself and how you receive the opportunities that are around you. Because sometimes we do not see these opportunities because our focus is elsewhere.
Mm.
So beginning to really value the work that we do, the passion that we have for whatever it is, because
Mm.
this is what ikigai says. Ikigai, this is a Japanese philosophy that talks about, knowing what you love to do, and that may be different from knowing what you get paid to do, and that may be different from knowing what you do that serves the world. They're different things that we
Mhm.
do. And it's about trying to really find something that really brings all of that together and valuing it, no matter what it is. For some people, it could be, a medical degree. Like my son is a medical doctor, and we have some things we actually agree on, and some things that we have very different views about, and we always have to come to a place where we respect each other, and it's about agreeing to disagree, at times. And he has it as a passion. He loves it. And I used to be a medical student. So I can understand his passion for it. It's a beautiful understanding that body consciousness. It's
Mm.
very powerful.
Mm.
Um, and it's, I understand his passion for it. And there's certain things that I now see very differently. So, there's certain professions that do not necessarily have that kind of collective acclaim or collective love or collective value.
Yeah.
But we can come to a place where we are understanding that whatever it is we have a desire or a passion for, if we're open to the opportunities around us and we believe in it, we can come to release the resistance that has been embedded in us.
Mm.
Not believe how much we have taken on from that collective disvalue. We may not believe it because we think that we are pushing forth, but as we dig deep into those limiting beliefs through the modalities that we use, the healing modalities, the transformational modalities, we can really come to a value whatever it is that we have a passion for, and
Mm.
really just coming to offer help, appreciate the help we offer to others, because sometimes we give from a place of an empty cup.
Mm.
Those times when we give from a place of an empty cup, it's not really appreciated. It's like, I know I have only say £50 in my account or something, and then I'm trying to give somebody 50, you know, that's £50, and I'm thinking that makes me a very generous person. Uh, but the anxiety or the fear that I am feeling when I'm giving that will get reflected back to me in different ways that may not necessarily be fun, you know. So sometimes it's really good to understand where am I within me and to give from a full place. So the
Mm.
help we give, it could be anything. It could be a word of affirmation. It could be a gift. It could be, an emotional, moral support. It could be a book. It could be anything, But whatever it is that we feel called to give, we can trust that this is what I feel called to give right now. So this is about self-care, the
Yeah.
different aspects of self-care when the world is doing its own bits, when you have family doing whatever, or friends or colleagues or acquaintances. It's about how do we come to really step back within us and get to that 0 point. Every single nugget in Daily Soul Bytes is about bringing you to that present space, that 0 point, that space where you are understanding that this is a place where I'm having no positive or negative thoughts. I'm really neutral, but
Mm.
it's a place of infinite possibilities. This is where I'm allowing my set my, when we're neutral, when we're in stillness, it's called so many things in different cultures. There's space consciousness, stillness, being present, being here now. It's about knowing that from this place I have access to infinite possibilities, and I
Mm,
can be guided into whatever direction without judgment, because judgment stops us
mm,
from taking action. When we get a message to make a call, where did that come from? Why should I make a call? And but we can be open and willing to explore whatever it is we're being guided,
mm.
whatever it is, whatever it is. That's an interesting thing
Yeah.
because it may seem meaningless at first. So
Mm,
trust is key,
mm,
because all of us have gone through heartbreak. We've gone through um, things that did not necessarily go the right way or the way we wanted it to go.
right.
So taking new steps, going a new way, delving into the unknown is not necessarily something that is easy for us to do. And
Mm,
I have had to learn to do that. And I still am learning. It's a journey, and there is always an opportunity for us to step into the unknown, that present space where we are not thinking of the past or the future. We're allowing ourselves to just hold a neutral point, no judgment. We're trusting. It's faith, having faith, but holding no thoughts, but having a heart-centered intention
mm.
that I am safe.
I
I
am
am,
safe. I love that.
that is such a powerful place to be.
Mm,
The mantras, the intentions, the beliefs that we hold really can allow us to stay present or can throw us into triggers,
mm,
because the triggers will come. There are always layers of healing. The triggers will come, and it's about what do we do when the triggers come? Do we allow ourselves to see what is there and hold space for whatever feelings are there, but knowing that we are making space for this, understanding the meaning, and coming back to center,
mm.
back to that present grounded space, to who we are. Because the personality constructs within us have different levels of trauma um, that we are healing. And the more we heal, it never ends. We never get to a place where there's no more healing to do.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but we find it easier to actually understand it, integrate it, and come back. We don't stay in it. We
Mhm,
don't stay in it saying there is some good in me going through this trauma. We let it take as long as it needs to take, but we are aware of what is going on,
mm.
saying to ourselves, I am going to understand this trigger and I'm coming back to my place of center, present space. So that is self-care, the nugget of self-care.
I love that. One of the things I've heard you say several times is the word resistance. Is and I
Mm,
have a feeling as you're talking, I'm thinking if we can get into that place, is that something that will make us more aware of the resistance? Because I don't know if I'm that aware of the resistance of to things, maybe operating on resistance the whole time. So how do we get more in touch with? Because I've seen you actually check yourself. Like that's a skill. That's a skill. How do you develop that? That's amazing.
yeah, I do. I check myself all the time.
Yeah.
There are times when, and there are different levels. There are different levels of it. There's some resistance that is conscious and some that is not conscious. Like there's certain conscious resistances. For instance, if you're trying to publish your book, and you know that you've had that intention. It was on your New Year's resolution list in 2020, and it's on the New Year's resolution list in 2021 and then 2022, and okay, so I'm telling myself I'm going to do this year after year, and it's not happening. So that's conscious,
Yeah.
so you're aware, and sometimes it's conscious. You don't even know you have that resistance. Because for instance, as I said, I wrote the book, I wrote Daily Soul Bytes in 2020, but I didn't actually um, write anything for years. For many, many years, I could not publish a book, and there was so much resistance, and my brothers, my younger brothers, they're writers. They very, very, they're geniuses, in fact. They basically kept saying to me, "You'll do it in your own time," and really it's about baby steps, because I decided that I would do this my own way, the way that I could really feel comfortable. I had a resolution. I had resolutions every single year. I'm going to write a book. I'm going to write a book for decades, But I started out just writing, just getting comfortable with writing, and I didn't push myself. I didn't judge myself, and I had to explain to everybody who was asking me, because we have to come to accept our own self. And as Carl Rogers will say, it is when I accept myself that I can truly change. We do have to accept things as they are, with resistance, even as we are delaying, even as we are feeling afraid, even as we are feeling challenged, whatever kind of definition we put on that feeling or experience we're having, we have to come to accept and own it. This is what I'm going through right now, but it's okay. So I know the steps I went through over the years. I first of all decided that I would begin to write on my own. Then I decided I would publish my articles on my blog. Then I decided to join groups. And I remember we met at the Soul Centered Woman something. I can't remember where we met, Adrienne, but it was about the book. If you remember, the book we will always collaborate in.
That's
And I
right.
Yes, yes. I joined many groups like that were looking at collaborating. I wanted to do something with others to start with, and I ended up in I think it was 2019 or 2020. The book Educational Psychology Perspectives for for young persons who have autism. That was I was called to write that book by two very good friends who called, educational psychologists who asked me to join them and be one of the collaborators in the book. And that is now an industry standard
Wow.
book for persons for psychologists who are working, and not just psychologists, practitioners, educators working with young persons who have autism. Because I have my son as autism, and wrote I wrote a chapter for parents who want to develop emotional intelligence for their children, based on my experiences and what I have been trained and what I know from that psychological point of view, and from that emotional resilience point of view, and from that parent point of view. How do you, when you have a child that is so unpredictable, so challenging, who has come on this earth plane to do what nobody else does?
Uh-huh. Yep. Yep.
How do you stay calm? Because your calm is what is going to infuse into him.
Yeah.
We are asking, this is a very perfect example of when we are asking our reality to change, but we have to change first, because the reality is a reflection. So my son taught me that. He taught me that until I actually become calmer within myself, his anger, he would be a street fighter. He would fight anywhere. He would fight in the supermarket. He would challenge, box everybody up. Um, Now he's a yoga practitioner.
That's
Now he's
amazing.
he-
That's amazing.
because of the experiences that I have transformed. It took a lot of, and it's still ongoing. Still ongoing. It's still unpredictable.
Yeah.
Still unpredictable. So these are the steps that I took. I put my own experiences in life into that book, that collaborative book that is now available on Amazon. Actually, it was published by Jessica Kingsley Publishers
Wow.
here in London. So yes, and then I remember my mom saying to me, "But it's not your book, Bola. This is not your book. You still need your book."
Wow.
I said to her, "Mom, this is industry standard. This is industry standard." So yes, and then there are people around us that really support us to not let go of our dreams, and the perspective that we hold from how they approach it is very important, because sometimes we can, yes, she was very critical a lot of the times, but I have come to understand that that is the way that she knew how to love. That is how she was raised. So she was showing love in the way that that she knew. And I've come to really appreciate how she really helped me to extend my reach, because it's one thing to be satisfied with what is going on, even if you feel that you're not happy with something, you're not able to reach out for more. You're not
Mm.
able to push through it. But
Mhm.
that kind of support to push through resistance, to push through things that you do not want. I do know that my having a parent who was able to condition me, wire me to not hesitate to push through things, to not hesitate. I know that if I felt like going to climb Mount Kilimanjaro today, that I could. My son is always saying, "Mom, what are you doing now?"
That's great. That's great.
So yes, it's having the inclination is one thing. Then trusting and having people around you can support you, because resistance comes, but you will have angels. The more we are able to stay centered, be in that grounded place, and it's a journey. But the more we can have more and more moments staying grounded, staying present, we are able to see those opportunities around us. We're able to receive the angels that come. You
Mm.
know, we will allow the help that we need to show us the way. The pointers are there. The pointers are there, and I've experienced that so many times in my life, and I'm sure we all have, where we are reluctant to do something, and then we get a call, or we're watching something and we get a message from what we're watching telling us to do something. I remember my neighbor saying to me that one day that he had some pets, and he said to me, "I have bed bugs," and I went to his place and I said, "No, these look like fleas. They're
Mm.
not bugs, because bed bugs have that rounded fin, then fleas are much tinier."
Mm.
And but I still had a little bit of. I was saying to myself, could they be bugs? No, they don't look like bed bugs. They look like fleas. And then I came home and I was watching something on Netflix, and that a very very similar scene happened in
Oh
what
my
I was.
gosh, that's so weird.
And yeah, and it was like, oh, these are fleas, not bed bugs. And I went, wow.
Whoa, that's such a weird conversation.
It's synchronicities honestly becomes very interesting when we begin to observe things around us. Because if I didn't have that self-awareness, or that awareness of what's going on around me, I may have just watched it and it wouldn't even I wouldn't even hear it, I wouldn't even see it. So yes, it's resistance requires self-awareness, requires us to open up to whatever is being offered to us, and be willing to take action without expectation. Just be guided to do whatever way we receive our intuition. It could be, vocally, it could be by visions, it could be we're hearing it could be a knowing. Because that's the difference between wanting proof and just knowing.
Mm.
When we know, because some people need proof to do something. I'm not going to write a book until I know that it's going to be a bestseller,
Mm.
you know, or I know this is the time to do it. I don't need proof. I don't need validation. I just have a knowing. Knowing, there's no proof in knowing. And we have different ways. I was a medical student, so I know that there's a time when I believed only in science. There's got to be proof. You've got to be able to prove what you're saying or what you're doing. And then there's another way to live life, and that is from a place of knowing, when you just know that this is the thing to do. And you have to develop that self-awareness, that understanding. Um, and it takes a lot of kind of healing and practice and love and compassion to get to that place. So yeah, resistance. I have resistance as well. Something it doesn't go. It's many levels of it.
It's funny because when you said that, I realized I do too. Like how many days I'm just walking around like resistance all over the place.
Yeah.
Just a great reason for people to get Daily Soul Bites, because how many of us are walking around in resistance all the time, not really living as a spirit, but living in the moment of whatever the chaos is. This helps us to get more in touch with reality of what's real.
And I think resistance is sometimes because we are afraid of the unknown, because we want proof. I do want to read the chapter
Yeah.
titled Unknown,
Okay.
the the unknown. It's quite a powerful section.
I just want you to know I'm loving this because everything you're talking about is right up my alley. And I'm like, I love it.
Thank you, Adrienne.
Definitely.
So this is the unknown soul nugget. Just stepping into the unknown is easier said than done, most especially if the times we took chances in the past or saw another take a risk, things went somewhat awry. It may be that we have had some good outcome from taking risk, but somehow all we need is one not so good outcome to throw our risk-taking bone out of kilter. We can come to remember some of the good outcomes we have had when we stepped into the somewhat unknown and things did not turn out okay. From childhood, walking into a new class, to adulthood, starting a new job, traveling to a new place, employing new staff, starting a new relationship, whatever. We have taken on and gone beyond many new things with unknown risk that we knew hardly much about. We pushed through the uncertainty and things turned out okay. It is worth remembering these times we step into the unknown and we came through as we take new steps. So that's the unknown soul nugget from Daily Soul Bytes.
Ah,
And it really is about us remembering that we are stepping into the unknown all the time and we have come through it. As from different things, when we take time to pause, there's so many things we will find in our lives that we did not have a clue about to start with. Moving to a new city, making a new relationship. I mean, I've been married twice, so I can tell you that, it's still, this is something that, was unknown to me to start with, but I did it. I was married 13 years the first time and 3 years the second time. So it's always important to remember that, yes, I stepped into the unknown and I achieved some good outcome. So I shouldn't be looking at the unknown as something that always, that I should resist.
mm,
I can actually allow myself to remember that I have learned certain things from stepping into the unknown. I pushed through and I got some good outcomes. And nobody is an adult without having stepped through the unknown many, 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 many
mm,
times. It is a part of our natural life, way of being. It is natural to us. So being able to just look at the unknown and feel more at ease, stepping into new things, even if we've had some bad outcomes, but we can remember that there are still opportunities that we can take advantage of, even if they are unknown to us. So this is about reminding us to really embrace that present moment, that moment of, because the present is unknown. I'd rather delve to the past, which I know very well. Oh gosh, the memories of the past, there's so many of them.
yeah.
I'd rather spend my time in those than stay neutral and just be without thought. The present is a place of no thought, and it's a place of infinite possibilities. And we can allow ourselves to stay present, stay in that unknown place, that unfamiliar place, or go to a new territory, an unknown territory that we believe is the next place that we are being called to go. Because sometimes we're all guided, but it's about how much we are sensitive to it, how much we allow ourselves to hear it or to see it or to follow it, to know it. So it's yes, the unknown creates resistance, and the more we can come to a place where we are um, allowing ourselves to step into that unknown with much more ease, the better. the outcomes we will get will be our preferred outcomes from the heart. Because outcomes, there's so many different types of flavors of outcomes. My goodness, there's so many different flavors of outcomes. But being able to enjoy, because this is what life, pleasure. What is the point of life if there is no pleasure or joy? What is the point of living? Is it about just making money and making work? We really have to come to understand, what is my purpose? What do I really want to enjoy in this life? Do I want to make so much money that by the time I'm in my 50s, 60s, I'm spending all that money on my health? Is that what I want? Or do I want to have a balanced life from quite early on? From my 30s, making sure that I am balancing my life and not pushing that body consciousness to a place of death, even as I'm living. Because sometimes we're walking around, but we're actually not living life, you know. So it's that purpose is so important, and it really helps us to understand what our outcomes, what our preferred outcomes are in our day to day.
I love that. It makes me want to get the book immediately so I can start taking action. Oh my gosh. I was just thinking here, as an author, what was the most challenging aspect of creating this? Was it, I heard you say at first it took you a minute, like you wrote a little and then you didn't write. But
Yeah.
was it because of the resistance? Was it because you know, what was it that made you resist a little bit?
Yeah, so I've thought about that a lot. That's a really great question, Adrian. Thank you. I have thought about that. There was resistance to actually write it, and I mentioned a bit of that where I just did not feel that it was going to provide the impact that I wanted.
Hmm.
I knew that I wasn't ready.
Hmm.
A part of me knew that I didn't want to focus too much on trauma. I didn't want to focus too much on mental health. And the chapter I wrote in the Educational Psychology Industry Standard book um, was about emotional resilience. That was as much as I wanted to write about trauma and emotional challenges. I knew I wanted to write a spiritual book, but it took me a while to get there and to feel confident in it. And then writing the book, because there's that resistance before the book is written, and then what you do with the book, because you can just write a book and share it for free with everybody, and that's okay.
Right. Right.
Mm. And you can write a book and just have it in Kindle format, and that's okay.
Right.
Or you can want to write it and just share with family members, um, and Daily Soul Bytes for me has become a mission.
Mm.
And I actually have the Daily Soul Bytes show as well now, which is really about bringing on expert guest authors, coaches, and entrepreneurs from the fields of spirituality, psychology, and leadership, who are sharing their expertise and insights for the expansion of collective consciousness. This is expansion of self that then leads to expansion of collective consciousness, of the community, of the world, of the stage, of the reality that we are all in. Because we are none of us is an island. We need the community, and we have some cultures who value community less than others. So when we begin to value the community that we're in, that I may have enough money to actually have my own driver, have my own cook, have my own road. I can build a road. You still need people to maintain that road. You still need a community, no matter how self-sufficient you are. So supporting others to build that community, coming together step by step. It doesn't happen overnight, but having a willingness, sending light to your community, to your collective consciousness, enables you to live a better life, to live a fuller life. So appreciating community is key. So Daily Soul Bites show is really about supporting the expansion of community, expansion of light in collective consciousness. And so the book is led me to that, led me to actually building that, because I had a podcast before, but it was interviewing those who were living soul-centered life from any aspect of life, and it wasn't really delving into collective consciousness. It may have done so indirectly, but this as a particular intention and a drive to actually expand collective consciousness. So the purpose of the book has grown as I have, as days have gone by, and even going from um, the Kindle to paperback to audiobook, it was an interesting journey going from paperback, going from Kindle to paperback.
Yeah.
That was published by Barbara Press, a division of A House. So there was resistance because I had to let go. I had to let go of the book wanting to be a particular size. I didn't even
Mm.
know the size I wanted to be. I wanted the book. I actually, when I was asked the size, I wanted the book to be that small, to be something to put in your pocket.
Oh, like a pocket book.
I
I've
don't know where
had
the
some of
idea
those
came.
before.
I
Yes.
don't know where the idea came from. It just came to
I've
me.
actually had some of those before, like little pocket books.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know, I had the idea, and Barbara Press said, "No, we can't do that. You know, it's got to be a bit bigger."
Yeah.
So it's as small as Barbara Press could actually do that, and I had to let go of my initial intentions, my initial desire, and there are different things that happened along the way that I had. Honestly, when you are publishing a book with whether you're self-publishing or whether you're doing it with the publisher, there's a lot of letting go. And even when you're promoting it like we're doing now, there's a lot of letting go because it can get quite personal where you are a little bit feeling a little bit vulnerable about sharing something that is personal to you, because these are values that not everybody wants daily soul bites. Not everybody wants to be spiritual. Not everybody wants to connect with their hearts. Not everybody wants to know. Some people do only want to deal with science. So sharing something publicly that not everybody will resonate with takes letting go. It takes you being vulnerable. It takes you being trust, being in trust, knowing that you are worthy. Not worthy from a place of arrogance, but worthy from a place of being part of the infinite, being part of infinite creation, being part of infinite intelligence. So that is the worth, that love, the love that you have within you. You're sharing that. That takes a lot. So that could be resistance if we do not allow ourselves to go through that, to push through that. And promoting the book, because it's one thing to write a book, it's another thing to it's almost like an entrepreneur. You're actually now selling the book and promoting the book, and that also takes it's a long-term project, because you have to decide what is the message of this book. What is it, how is it going to impact on the people around me? And you have to understand, and I'm still learning to share the messages in Daily Soul Bytes, because I'm understanding it more and more my own self. So now it's come out in audiobook, readings and on Audible. That was another level, because this is something about me knowing that there are people who do not necessarily want to have a paperback. Some people want audiobooks and some don't. And you have to invest in that, knowing that it's not for everyone, but you believe in it. You believe, because I remember going from paperback to audiobook, because I loved paperbacks from a very young age. Ramana Maharashi was one of my most powerful books when I was 18 years old, where he explained the two selves to me, the higher self and the physical ego self. That was from when I was 18 in Ramana Maharashi. And he was also somebody who had difficulty talking. Ramana Maharashi had He preferred silence to speech, and I resonated with that. I
Mhm.
resonated with him, and because I remember reading about him saying, "Oh, silence is more powerful than words," and I said, "Oh yes, tell me about that."
Yeah.
I'd rather be silent than than all this stuttering stuff. I'd rather be silent. So but yeah, there was a time when I didn't want to read books, and now I do go back. I do buy audiobooks and read paperbacks as well. But there are different things that come up, as resistance. And I definitely, through different stages, I've
Mm.
had resistance with the book as an author.
I'm just glad that you created it and you stuck with it and you've expanded upon it and you've grown. It's beautiful what you're doing. As you're talking about it, first of all, I'm thinking, okay, I'm getting the audiobook. That's what's in the back of my mind. But it's just the idea of what a beautiful, powerful message it is to help people get more in touch with their actual spiritual selves.
Yes,
So many
yes,
of us want, right? It's
and
beautiful.
stay present in neutrality, because it's one thing to be in that place where you're feeling overwhelmed with the negative limiting beliefs, and then you move into that positive space with determination, with dedication, with daily spiritual practice, with daily habits, rituals, scaling up and stacking up your energy every day to stay positive. And then you learn to be neutral. You begin to experience that neutral space. But you can't go from negative to neutral. You have to go from negative into positive, first of all. You have
Ah,
to really embrace that positivity and embrace that higher perspective. You have to embrace those higher perspectives of positivity, and then you can find, it's like that pendulum going from, you have to go like that, and then the time comes when you're able to stay in that center. And once you're able to stay in that center and be present, this is really where our true power lies. Is This is where the higher self dwells in, is in that neutral space. And we've all been there. We've all been there where we have just had we just get guided. We just have a nugget come through, and we know we've got to follow. It's like a deja vu, or a sixth sense. We get told something, or someone says something, and it carries such meaning to us. That is a neutral perspective. 'Cause no judgment, no judgment. We're allowing. It's the highest space of allowance that we have. That's what Daily Soul Bites helps us to do. It helps us to keep that pendulum go straight, and it's self-awareness, to raise that self-awareness, to understand the positive aspects, the higher perspectives of everything around us. Because I pick on so many different topics that are
yeah.
mundane things in life. And
Mm.
then that everything, every situation or aspect of life has the negative aspects and the positive aspects. We have been conditioned with these different beliefs in all these different aspects, and we can really come to a place where we can become much more familiar with, oh no, I want to change the way I'm thinking about this. uh,
Mhm.
I I do not want to think about this in this way. I want to think about it in this way. And it becomes quicker and quicker to align, to become much more familiar. And then a time comes when we're actually able to stay neutral. Um, and so, yeah,
I
that's
love
it. Mm.
I love and I'm getting a vibe that the 31 nuggets are kind of almost like little work steps to keep us in that space of neutrality.
Yes, yes. It's really about um, reducing um, the dance with the negative perspectives,
Mm.
reducing the focus on that,
Mhm.
not eradicating it, just raising awareness of it. And because these negative perspectives, or negative or limiting beliefs, there's always something we're learning from them. There's always something. Sometimes we have something has to go bad to know. I don't want this, I don't want my life to contain this. And that can sometimes really give us the motivation to push in another direction. So it's really powerful. It's really powerful when we begin to see the negative limiting perspectives as just a perspective. It's just a way of seeing things. I may think that I'm not safe, but there's another perspective. There's a choice. It's not the only way. There are limiting opportunity, limited, I mean unlimited, infinite opportunities around us, and infinite, infinite perspectives. And this is one of the things that is about understanding that we have choice. There's choice. Yes, we're thinking this way, but we can begin to think this way. And it's a way of being. It's a powerful way of being. So it's no matter where you are on your spiritual awakening journey, this book will serve you in enabling you to deepen that self-awareness, to deepen your understanding of self, understanding of your way of being, of the way you live life. Am I living in the lower perspectives or the higher perspectives? Am I living in the neutral space? And being able to align quicker and quicker.
That's beautiful. That was one of my questions I was going to ask about the rituals, and that is one of the things is to maybe just read your book every day to make sure you're staying in those 31 nuggets. But because I'm thinking it is so easy to get pulled out of alignment.
Yeah.
It's so easy. So
Yeah.
I'm just thinking that if this is sort of like a handbook that we can have by our side, or to resort to look at, to see, to
Yeah.
get back into the place, because
Self-awareness. Yeah.
yes, it's easy to get pulled out of alignment.
And when we're pulled out, it happens. So, it could be, and the ego is so powerful, it's not more powerful than the higher self, but it is an entity in this third density, um, that will find something, that is more passionate, even if you have develop neutrality in particular areas. Like I know that one area where as a mother, as a parent, that is one area where I really have to work hard with staying neutral with the ego, and with the way I deal with things in that particular aspect with my children. I can be neutral with clients, I can be neutral with work, I can be neutral with publishers, but the ego will find something that you're really deeply embedded in, something that you really care about. And how do you come to a neutral space? How do you let go of something you truly care about? And the way I did it for my kids is to know that I'm only a guardian. Yes,
Mm,
I gave birth to them, I gave birth to them, but they have come as souls with their own missions, and I can only be guided to be a guardian for them. I am responsible, but to an extent, very limited extent, in fact, in some cases. My son now is a grown man.
yeah.
I have absolutely no, he's my role is to be there if he wants to talk to me. My other son, who has special needs, I do have a stronger role, but I'm still a guardian because there's a team looking after him, a team of specialists, because he has, health complex health needs. So there's a team of specialists, and there is, yes, I do have a role in decision making, but it's as I'm a joint, it's not something that I can do on my own, and I need to step back. And over the years, I've learned to let go and be in that neutral space as much as possible. And we all have to do that because I have seen the better outcomes. The more I have let go of control in that role as a parent, the more I have seen the natural control that the universe has. The universe has its own control. My son, his carers, his team, the way they come out of, they will pay for things without even, they will just send me the invoice and they'll go, oh, we've paid for it. And I go, what? Because of the way they have come to open up their hearts to this And there's another, because I'm creating this reflection. I'm creating this is the love that I'm giving to myself, that I'm seeing giving to my son.
Mm,
When we will see these things happen, and it never used to, hello, before it wouldn't happen before, you
mm,
know. But now I'm seeing things happen. The less control I have, the more love and appreciation that I give to things around me, the more I get it back. So there is a lot of letting go that we need to do, that allows us to really experience better outcomes. Let me put it that way. That we can come to a place where we are enjoying things that make us smile a little bit more than others.
beautiful, beautiful. Well, Bola, can you let people know one more time how they can get a hold of this wonderful, wonderful audiobook, as well as a paperback or Kindle if they want?
Yes, thank you, Adrienne. Thank you so much, Adrienne, for joining me. I tell you, I really appreciate your being here with me, and for you taking the lead. For me being able to do the background, and you just leading with your expertise. Very fabulous, glamorous expertise.
Oh,
Guys. Yes, thank you so much. And I do want to thank everyone who's joined us today. Daily Soul Bytes is available anywhere books are sold online, as paperback or Kindle. It's on Amazon, it's on Bible Press. As you know, it's also available as an audiobook on Audible, um, audible.com or audible.co.uk. And I invite those who do grab a copy to send a review on Amazon or Barbara Press. And if you grab a copy of the audiobook and you send me a message, I will send you a free copy of the ebook. And you can also, if you do watch this as a replay and you subscribe to the website, to Soul Space Healing, I will send you a mug. This is the Daily Soul Bites mug. This is it, yeah, the merchandise.
gorgeous.
That's what we're giving away today. For those who comment on the video and this promotion video and also subscribe, send me a message once that's happened, once you've subscribed, that you were the one who commented and has also subscribed. And I will send you details to get the mug and also a copy of the audiobook. And also, if you've bought a copy of the audiobook, so three things: copy of the audiobook, watching the video, and making a comment and subscribing, we will send you a mug.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I cannot help it. Bola, when you held up the mug, I suddenly realized you have on that gorgeous t-shirt. Is that t-shirt also available? Because that is gorgeous.
Thank you. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. There's a website. I will share the links for the website. So this is the Daily Soul Bites t-shirt, and there's a cap as well.
Oh,
So
I love it.
yeah, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful. My son, and the hoodie. My son loves
Oh,
it.
I love it.
Yes, thank you.
Definitely want to help promote this for you. And I'm going to share this everywhere I can because I feel like this is something that most of us need. We're just walking around in a lot of us without knowing. We're just living and experiencing the emotions as they come up for us, not realizing that we're a spirit, not realizing that there are answers, there's solutions, there's even daily soul bites. So I want to make sure I share this so that people know that we don't have to live in that area of resistance or failure or not achieving our dreams or whatever it is. A lot of us get stuck. When the hard time comes, we get
Yeah,
stuck there.
yeah,
And as you were talking, I there were several places I realized, oh my gosh, I'm stuck. But how many of us are like that? We're just living in that place of either fear or resistance or whatever it might be. We're stuck in the moment, the past. A lot of us are just not living in the now. And I just love that you cover this subject in such a thorough way that helps people to get back in touch with their hearts and in touch with the now.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
And for those who do want to go through that emotional release, I do run a SMEET Emotional Mastery Program. And there is the next season of of the SMEET Emotional Mastery Program is an 8-week program where we go from self-awareness to mindfulness to integration, trauma recovery, and transmutation. So this is where you are now staying in that present 0 point moment. So the Meet Emotional Matter program starts in October 2024. And I'm going to be doing a webinar on the 30th of September at 9 p.m. British Standard Time. So I will be promoting that. Anybody who's interested in that, it's on now on Eventbrite. So those you can sign up. It's a free webinar where I will share information about the programs that I run, and specifically about the Meet Emotional Mastery Program, which is an 8-week program that really helps go from develop that self-awareness and mindfulness and integration, how to hold polarities. We've got to be able to hold the plus and the negative and stay neutral. And trauma recovery is ongoing because we're peeling layers of onions, different personality constructs. It's not one identity. We're literally a new person every second. It's really, really powerful how we come to understand our new selves we're creating every second. And then transmutation is really where we are able to not project into the past or the future in terms of doing it without thought, but actually staying present, because we can have our stories. We can have our stories. I can talk about being a mother. I can talk about being a structure. I can talk about different stories that I still love to. It's relevant to me, and I it holds a meaning. It holds a meaning to my life still. Some things I've let go of, but we can begin to have a, to be able to align to memories, align to things that hold more meaning to the kind of life we want to live, as opposed to the subconscious driving us to not understand or to stay stuck, as you very eloquently mentioned, Adrienne. So yes, the Speed Emotional Mastery webinar will be on the 30th of September at 9 o'clock. And the links, I can share the links, they're all on my page, um, and on Eventbrite.
I definitely want to attend that. You said that's free, that webinar?
Yes, it's free. It's free. It's for those who want to know more about the program that I run, the 8-week program. And signature course has a lot of modalities that I share, including energy healing. You come away truly transformed. Never the same. Never the same. And I I'm starting the new season on the 1st of October. So it's for those who are just wanting to know more about it before. And you can send me an email if you do just want to know more about it. And I can always reply to that. And also to ask those who are watching to subscribe to the Daily Soul Bytes show on YouTube and Spotify and Apple. That's a weekly podcast that I share. Lots of experts come on it, and that's on a Wednesday. New episodes every Wednesday at midnight, British Standard Time. So look out for more exciting guests starting on the 4th of September. The next season 3 started. We've nearly 100 episodes now.
Wow.
Season 3 is starting on the 4th of September. So yes, look out for that. That's available on YouTube and Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere.
Now, on YouTube, are you under Daily Soul Bites or are you under Soul Space?
Under Bola Abimbola official.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
but if you type in Daily Soul Bytes, will come up.
okay.
Yeah, we're ranking very nicely. Nearly 1 million views at the moment
That's
on YouTube.
beautiful. Congratulations. Done well. Well, this has been amazing. I am so excited to be a part of this launch for you. And I'm so excited about everything that you've got planned. It touches my heart. And I want to help you to promote that as best as I can, um, over the next month. So thank you, Bola, for this opportunity to just be here for you in this launch and this audiobook. Excited for you.
Thank you, Adrienne. And I do want to ask those who are watching or listening to go to Adrienne's website, Astrology, A Light Ahead. Uh,
Astrology, a look inside.
a look
I love
Style,
that.
astrology and looking style. I'm a subscriber, and I love your videos. So
Thank
yes,
you so
because you do bring that political perspective. You do manage to shed the astrological light on political perspectives, especially in the States. So it's an interesting. Those who will resonate with that will find it very, very helpful because you are a genius when it comes to astrology. I love watching the way you explain events that are happening using that particular modality. So I do want to encourage those who are into that. And you're also a life coach, a neuro linguistic programmer as well. So yes. Thank you so much. I couldn't have done this without you, honestly. It couldn't have been possible.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
my pleasure, Bola. Thank you. And thank everyone who has been watching. And please be sure to support Bola Abimbola in her mission to promote Daily Soul Bites across the world.